Hello, welcome back. So let's start reviewing this book and our tarot deck. If you have something to drink and you're ready, let's get this party started. So let's get started. Around the Tarot in 78 Days, a personal journey through the cards, Marcus Katz and Tally Goodwin. Welcome to the land of Tarot, where each and every card is an adventure of discovery. Journey into the exciting world of Tarot with this comprehensive 78-day course, uniquely presented in a one-card-per-day format. This workbook provides a solid foundation in Tarot and offers new ways to enrich your life using the wisdom of the cards. Well-known tarot readers and instructors Marcus Katz and Tally Goodwin take you through the symbolic landscape of tarot card by card. Progress through the exercises in sequence or study the cards in whatever order you like. Casting traditional interpretation methods in a fresh and modern light, Katz and Goodwin teach you how to interpret spreads by experiencing them as meditations, activities, affirmations, and oracles. Discover the keywords of each card and how to use them. Delve even deeper with gated spreads, a series of spreads guiding you toward a powerful experience, and integrative lessons on magic and Kabbalistic correspondences. So, if you've got all that, let's see what the book has to offer. Again, this was a gift to me. I will take a little bit of time with each page if you want to read these ones. Introduction. Here's a table of contents. In this book, you are going to discover that the Tarot is not just a deck of 78 cards. It is a real place, a place where your mind meets the mysteries of your imagination, a place where your mind meets the mysteries and your imagination floats over the landscape of time itself, gaining insight into your past, present, and future. It is into this magical place that we are going to travel together. on a tour around the Tarot in 78 days. This book contains a progressive and comprehensive tarot course that can be completed one day at a time or ad hoc, and then used as an invaluable reference guide as you continue to deepen your studies and practices in the future. It is written for absolute beginners to enjoy and seasoned readers to gain new ways of looking at their work. On this journey, you will be introduced to each and every card as an exciting adventure of discovery, building up a conversation with the whole deck by learning new methods and insights along the way. These include tarot spreads for reading for yourself and others, the new methods to fully deepen your experience of the cards. We will ensure that you are fully prepared by packing your map, phrase book, and guidebook, your compass, and even an emergency kit. Over the years, we have been teaching tarot. We know from thousands of students that the best way to learn tarot is to have fun, to engage in depth with the deck as a living landscape and a voyage of self-discovery. You will soon visit such mystical places as the Clockwork Museum and the Mountain of the Sun, where you will find tarot gates opening up whole new areas of your life. In fact, in no time at all, you will be working with the tarot to divine your future, change your present, and understand your past. And these 78 days will open your magical and personal journey through the cards. We are delighted to have you along for this trip of a lifetime. Let's get started. Section 1, Packing for the Journey. As with any journey, we need to first pack whatever we might need on our way. You won't need any other equipment for this workbook other than the book itself and a pack of tarot cards. The workbook is structured around the standard deck of 78 cards, 22 majors, 40 minors, and 16 court cards. So you will need to ensure you have this type of deck rather than an oracle or a variant deck. It doesn't matter if the deck is illustrated or is a pips only deck, although you will probably find it easier with a deck such as the Waite Smith Tarot or other clone deck based on that model. This one is based on the Waite Smith book, Tarot. You may like to use any of the following decks which illustrate this book: the Shadowscapes Tarot, the Legacy of the Divine Tarot, and the Universal Tarot. This one is a Prisms Tarot. We also refer to the Thoth Tarot deck. I don't know. I probably am not saying this right. During our journey ahead, there are many online sites that provide images and reviews of decks for you. And it also goes on to tell you they love limited edition ones. They refer to the Waite Smith Tarot, and it'll be the WST throughout this workbook. All right. You may wish to keep a journal of your tarot travels as you explore this workbook. We would highly recommend you recording of your experiences, particularly if you take the route of the 10 gated spreads we have provided in the journey. A journal can be a simple notebook or a treasured handmade item. Each traveler must decide what suits his or her style. Having packed the bare essentials, let's take a look now at the landscape we are about to explore, and then we can decide what else we might require before setting off. I have just grabbed a notebook real quick. This has been in live videos of mine. So this is what I will keep for my journal. This incredible country in which we are about to travel is a place with which we already have familiarity. In fact, we already spend all of our time there. It's just that we don't notice. Tarot is a place of dreams, symbols, and the unconscious. When you see a red light and stop, when you see two doors with a male and female figure on them, when you say life is a box of chocolates, you are already living in the symbolic landscape of Tarot. You have practiced Tarot your whole life, in dreams and in waking. The Tarot landscape is the unconscious mind, is one that has been explored in many films. It gives the name of films. Tarot, however, whilst it follows dream rules, we can soon learn to find our way around using signposts and learning the language of the place. Major Arcana, the landmark cards. There are 22 significant landmarks in the landscape. These are the 22 major arcana. In our life, these are always present at every moment. They are so big we can see them from anywhere and get our bearings. We are never lost when we use these landmarks to discover where we are. Each of them has its own path on the tree of life, so we can discover our way along the spiritual journey. At any time in your life, you may be closer to some of these landmarks than others. You can guide yourself, as you will discover in this book, in any situation. In this book, we begin from the landscape of the last major arcana card, the World. We then move upwards through the cards to the first card of the Magician. This symbolizes our journey in the world to acquire the skill of Tarot. Of course, we will be accompanied by the Fool throughout our journey, although he will only make an actual appearance when we are ready. As an example, suppose you are in an experience or situation to which the Wheel card is closest. This describes the ups and downs of life. We can see the wheel that the landmark cards closest one way and the other are the Hermit and the Justice. This tells us that we can either move towards removing ourselves from the situation, the Hermit, or balancing it to achieve some outcome, Justice. Using the landmark cards to guide you is a first step in being confident as a navigator in the world of Tarot. Over the years, you may come to use this book and the cards as an invaluable guide to life, as they are the very map and GPS of our soul. The minor arcana, the signposts. The minor arcana provide useful signposts in the realm of Tarot. When we are working in any situation in the minor arcana, they provide illustrations of all human activity, as they construct a matrix in four elements and in 10 stages within each element. They also provide a logical progression, teaching us how to move from one state to another. We call this the next step method. So going back real quick to the major arcana card, and they were talking about the Wheel, the Hermit, and the Justice. So the Wheel card is the 10. The Hermit is the 9, and the Justice is the 11. And now we are going to continue, but I want to go show real quick what we are going to be getting into. All kinds of stuff. So, let's continue. As you travel over the next 78 days and beyond, you can take any moment to identify the card in the minors that most sums up your present state, and then consult the page in the workbook for that card. Your next step direction is to follow the card, which indicates how you can look to move forward. Simply read the next page for the way ahead. The direction cards, court cards. The court cards provide us directions in our journey, as they represent the forces at play in the universe, either through people or through events themselves. We can turn to the court cards for assistance when we need to kickstart something in our lives or when we feel out of balance. Again, as you make your way through a life lived with tarot, you can shuffle your 16 court cards whilst considering your present imbalance, and then lay them out in a circle. You can identify which card feels closest to your present state, or use your significator card, which you will choose here in this workbook, and look across the circle to find your kickstart court card, which is the one now placed opposite to your current state. We will get into this. Consult the relevant court card page in this workbook, and this will give you the voice of advice from the card itself in the Card Says section. Don't be afraid to ask for direction if you find yourself a little lost in the world of tarot. The court cards are always around you to assist. Pit stop points. The major arcana can provide our journey and our readings with pit stop points. Important moments when we can take heed and review the fundamental forces that shape our lives. They are like the deep current on which we sail, often unaware of the tides, yet sometimes swept up in them. When we know the nature of these points, we can quickly adjust our course to make the most of the flow. Change cards. There are several change cards in the tarot. When these appear in the landscape, change is foretold in one of the number of different ways. Whether this change is beneficial or malign is determined by the other cards in the vicinity. Change cards. The High Priestess. The change is happening subtly and without your knowledge. Death. The change is happening by transforming the current situation. Blasted Tower. The change is sudden and brings new elements into play. Moon. The change is a slow cycle requiring a long journey. Teaching cards. When any of the following cards appear in your view, there is a lesson to be learned, as they are the main teaching cards of the tarot realm. Actually, all the major cards are lessons and teachers in some way or another, but these are the most powerful. Teaching cards. Magician. Direct teaching by experiment and example. The Hierophant. Traditional teaching, learning by rote, following a structure and code. Wheel, teaching by life experience. Challenge cards, there are a few which present you a challenge to overcome on your way through the tarot. Their appearance in your area brings a call to action and requires response and energy. Last Judgment, a calling which awakens a new state if you answer quickly. Opportunity cards. Whilst all cards both a challenge and an opportunity, teachings and lessons alike, some cards open wide opportunities when they appear. Sun, the opportunity to be open. Lovers, the opportunity to choose. Fool, the opportunity to be free. Our initiation cards. The initiation cards of the majors are Strength, engaging with the path of right relationship and appropriate response. Chariot, being on the path with all energies harnessed. Hermit, becoming the path itself as the living example of the way. Stop cards. Stop cards. The stop card of the majors is Hanged Man. When this card appears, you should take notice and realize that your values are being called into question. Make no progress and stop until you are truly manifesting what is most important to you at this time. The position of the hangman can show where you are suspended. For example, if in the past position of the spread, it shows you are still in need of reviewing an experience in memory. If in the outcome position, it indicates that your current route will take you to a full stop and review. We will now take a look at a number of other ways of exploring this tarot landscape. Another manner in which you can use this journey is to provide an innovative way of working with tarot beyond your own spreads when you read for yourself. A 3-card spread can be converted here to a series of activities or meditations, affirmations, or oracular advice from the card itself by selecting the days for the cards you have dealt in answer to your question. This provides a real-life magical ritual to activate the forces of the cards, and I will show you. Well, I guess we'll have to get to that part when we get there. To the days for gated spreads. You'll also be given opportunity in this book to explore the concept of gated spreads, which is an intricate part of tarosophy. Tarot to engage life, not escape it. A gated spread is a series of spreads which are linked together by activities you undertake in response to each spread. They are designed by reverse engineering to ensure you are taken into a powerful experience if you follow the sequence of spreads and activities they request. You can only perform a gated spread in the sequence it is given. Without the activity between the linked spreads, there is no way in which the next gate will open properly. The titles of the cards. As an intermediate method, once you have begun to learn the basics of each card. We have given each card two oracular titles that capture the essence of each stage of the journey as invitation and engagement. Every card along the way presents you an invitation to learn from it and a lesson in which is experienced if you choose to engage with the card at that time. These titles have been drawn from the experiences of hundreds of readers. When asked questions about the cards which required them to unconsciously process their deep-seated meaning for the card. Therefore, they come up with keywords. When we resolved the keywords from these unconscious responses, we then turned them into provocative card titles, such as turning resources for the pentacles into finding yourself, or ambition for the wands into working towards. These provide the invitation title. Furthermore, we have simplified the four worlds of Tarot so we can use the difference of the four suits to generate our engagement titles. The wands become expressions, cups, creation, swords, examination, pentacles, a place. The court card titles are also taken from this research, which shows the pages to be channelers, knights to be responders, queens to be connectors, and the kings to be demonstrators. Thus, the titles for the invitation, engagement aspects of these cards are pages, setting and readiness, knights, proving and responding, queens, caring and being, kings, doing and declaring. You will also see that the titles create their own story through the deck, from the finding yourself returning of the Ten of Pentacles to the finding the beginning at the end of the Fool. The titles for the major arcana are also modified from our earlier work, asking hundreds of readers for unconscious keywords, such as success for the magician and revelation for the high priestess. The order of the cards. While it may be the usual format to learn the cards one at a time in numerical sequence, the strangest thing is that you will never get a reading, or only rarely, that follows a number sequence. It is like learning the alphabet and then expecting words to be created with ABC or LMNN, XYZ. We have never found it very important to teach in number sequence. There are still discussions about the precise order of the majors, such as swapping the positions of strength and justice. The structure in this workbook is based on the soul's journey on the Tree of Life. Although we do not cover this in detail, you will experience a trip from the lowest plane of matter, where we encounter the pages of the quartz cards, and the tens of the lowest plane of matter, and the tens of the minors, all the way up to the rarefied and abstract heights of the aces, and the mysterious high priestess, the magician, and finally the fool, who is often seen as unnumbered and outside of any sequence. The major cards are introduced in order from the World, the highest numbered card, to the Magician, the lowest numbered card, throughout our journey according to their position on the Tree of Life. This provides a good opportunity to learn some of the esoteric patterns in the tarot without getting too obscure. And this is the tarot card Tree of Life. We have our connecting with the cards. As we traverse the cards, we can find for every card a brief connection with 2 levels, an affirmation and a meditation. Resonances. In this section, for every card, we will locate the resonances or correspondence which apply to that card. We'll be learning these magical correspondences can be used to make magic, and you'll be learning a few techniques in this workbook. Tarot as a teacher. In this workbook, you will be presented a lesson from every card, as if you were meeting each one as your own personal tutor. These lessons will vary depending on the teacher. Some will be conceptual, some will be practical. Tarot in your life. We will discover how the card can apply to any aspect of life. It is often a limitation that books of interpretations will be too specific. We will find in this section for each card how to apply the card to a range of questions. Better yet, you'll come to see how the tarot teachers are present in your everyday life. Tarot Connect. We often find ourselves askew or blocking our natural flow to creativity. We can use tarot to inform us how we are blocking the energies that make up life itself. Depict in the deck and take corrective actions. In this section for each card, you'll discover how to use tarot as a GPS for your very soul. One powerful method you may choose to adopt is to perform a 3-card reading for any situation in which you are presently stuck. You take out 3 cards, place them somewhere noticeable, and then make a note of the connect to your card activity. Then perform these 3 activities on the same day while you have the cards out. You may be surprised how this breaks you out of the old outworn patterns and behaviors, or even magically changes your situation. The cards speak. Here, we will allow the cards to find their voice and speak to you. You'll often find yourself listening to a card after doing a few of these readings. That's another new skill. Getting to know the court cards. We have provided 2 extra pages for page cards called Where You Might Meet and What People Say About. These give you contemporary places and statements about the character. They will likely remind you immediately of people in your life. Section 3, Your Tarot Phrase Book, Learning the Tarot Language. When we are thinking about traveling to a new place, particularly one quite far away, we usually try to learn a few things about the culture, people, and language. Our 78-day journey involves exactly the same ideas. We will first look at the peculiar language and discover a good way of learning the basics so we can ask for directions during our journey. If we were to describe tarot as a language, if you would, we're just not going to read all of it. If you have given or received a tarot reading, you will have heard the reader talking about past, present, and future. Our first lesson in tarot language is to learn how to turn the present of the card into the future. This is something most students struggle to learn, and it is often something that only comes with practice. We will try and shortcut to this skill by teaching it first. We should also remember it is not necessary to learn all the speech one is going to need. Speech can be improvised once the systems once you have mastered it. The Tarot is full of objects such as cups, swords, hats, windows, wheels, horses, and so much more. While everyone can be considered a symbol, pointing to a meaning such as cup can be equals an emotion, they are simply nouns. Nouns are objects, and they are the first thing we learn as children. For example, C is for cat. We have 22 nouns in the Tarot language. Here are the major cards such as the Devil, the Wheel, the Tower, and the Lovers. These ones require a little bit more learning to study. Devil, attachment, wheel, cycles, tower, shock. So not only the noun version, and we have the adverbs, and we can see these forms. We can see these forms of language in Tarot too, and we start to make our first sentences using the keywords for the card selected in a spread. We'll use a simple 3-card spread for learning our language before we take to the air on our journey. This spread is simply the selection of 3 cards to answer a question. What is the future of my new rock band? To recap, the major cards are the nouns, the minor cards are the verbs, and the court cards are the adjectives. We can add a word ourselves to describe how we interpret the sentence from which becomes the adverb, a verb we have added ourselves. To make it even easier, you can spend some time learning the basic of Tarot language by splitting your deck into 3 piles. The majors, the minors, those are the numbered, and the court cards. The court cards are the pages, the knights, the queens, and the kings. Then shuffle each of the 3 decks and select one from each pile, laying them face up. So if we shuffle our deck, let's just do it right now. So here I have the 3 piles. We have the majors, the minors, and the court cards. Shuffle each of the 3 decks and select one out of each. So here we have, so if we shuffled our decks and we got these 3 cards from each deck in order. All right, so from the majors, the Blasted Tower. I'm just pulling them out. The Tower. Right here. The Tower. The 3 of Cups. I'm just going to pull these out real quick. Referring to the keywords in the workbook, we would read this sentence in the language of Tarot as the friendly group, the 3 of Cups, broke up, the Tower, steadily, the King of Pentacles. All right, you can see we have slightly rearranged the cards in our sentence to form a clear communication. This is fine when you are reading several cards together in a non-positional spread. It is also a good way to practice powerful readings with just a few cards. Now we must turn this into future. By simply casting it into a future tense, we need to learn more language to do this. Just do it in English. According to these cards, the friendly group will steadily break apart. That doesn't sound too good for the rock band question. Although usually one might not need a tarot card reading to predict that for most bands. Suppose we had instead these 3 cards for the same question. The Wheel, the Hermit, and the 6 of Swords. Our keywords say we have two nouns and 1 verb. The Wheel and the Hermit are the nouns, and the verb is the 6 of Swords. Our keywords say luck for the Wheel, solitude for the Hermit, and recovery, 6 of Swords. Turning that into a tarot sentence, you will recover your luck by going solo. We're going to end part 1 here. And when we continue part 2, we will be on part 2, section 4. We will be at section 4, page, let me do this so that none of us lose where I'm at. Section 4, your tarot guidebook, page 18. That is where we will be. You guys, if you have any questions, you can leave a comment when this video uploads. I will also leave my email as well as all the links in the description box below. I hope you enjoy this video. If so, I hope you give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out my membership levels. Most of all, I hope you have the best day ever, and I'll see you in the next video.